Ahead on NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
We're heading to the kitchen for a look at some of our favorite beef recipes. The chefs from the Culinary Innovation Center share beef cooking tips for any occasion.
And now, a special edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen with host Kevin Oxner.
Hello and welcome to this week's special edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. I'm Kevin Oxner. Thanks for joining us. Are you looking for some great new ideas for preparing beef meals? Luckily, our favorite chefs from the Beef Culinary Innovation Center are here to share some great tasting recipes. Let's head on into the kitchen. Like so many cattlemen, I've been out working or feeding cattle on one of those cold winter days, and when the work's all done, you want something to eat that'll warm you from the inside out. And Pam Nash, one of the recipe testers from the Beef Culinary Center, has just the right recipe for us today. Pam, I understand you're going to tell us how to make beef green chili.
Yes, Kevin, beef green chili. This recipe is super simple to put together. You use ingredients that you already have in your pantry, and best of all, you can use leftover beef. So if you have anything that you didn't eat from last night, you can take it and turn it into beef green chili for tonight.
Sounds delicious. I love green chili. Tell us how we get started.
So what I have going in the pan here is I have one whole onion diced.
Okay.
I have a whole jalapeno that's been seeded and diced.
Perfect.
And I have 4 cloves of garlics that I have minced. And you get it in your pan and cook it for about 5 to 7 minutes until the onions become translucent and you get a little bit of color on it.
No liquid in there?
No liquid at all. Just
Very
get
good.
it going in there. And once this is all cooked the way you want it, then you can start adding your other ingredients. We're going to start with the beef. Here I have 12 ounces of cubed brisket from last night. We cubed it up and we'll just dump it in.
Like you say, lots of alternatives, roast, whatever.
Whatever you have left over from previous nights, just go ahead and dump it all in.
Outstanding.
The other thing that we have, I have 3 cups of green chilies.
You bet.
These you can just get from the store in the can.
All right. That's perfect.
Dump it
Now,
in.
how many is this going to feed ultimately?
Here, the sizzle. Well, depending on
How much you
how
like green
much you
chili?
like to eat. Exactly. This is going to feed about 4.
Outstanding.
So let's stir up our green chilies, get everything mixed up in
Looks
there.
and smells delicious. Wow.
And our next ingredient, I have 1 can of fire roasted diced tomatoes.
Okay. Perfect.
Dump that in.
And colorful too, huh?
And very colorful, very healthy for you. So once you get this all mixed up together,
Okay.
you're going to want to put a lid on it. Mm-hmm. And that's basically it. Then
And
you just,
how long are we going to cook it?
we're going to let it sit and cook like this for about 25 to 30 minutes. Let all of the flavors develop. While you do this, you can be running around with the kids, getting them to practice. Or
Sitting by fire, whatever.
Sitting by fire, whatever you need to get done.
Good.
After about half an hour,
Yeah.
everything will be all mixed up and well together. You want to
Okay.
take it off your heat
Yeah.
and take your lid off. And we're just going to add 2 tablespoons of sour cream.
You're going to add it in the mixture.
And we're going to add it in the mixture, get it all
Very
mixed
good.
up. Kind of rounds out the flavor.
Yeah.
Gives it a little creamy taste.
Outstanding. I thought you were just going to put it on top of it, but that's great.
No, we're going to mix this in, but certainly if you wanted to put more
Little
on
extra.
there, a little more extra sour cream, you are
Perfect.
more than welcome.
Oh, that absolutely looks delicious.
So mix it up.
And it appears that we've got actually a finished product right here.
Absolutely. We have a finished product, and we actually garnished. We did put more sour cream on this one. We topped it with some shredded cheddar cheese, some avocado diced, and some tortilla chips.
That's great. What a perfect way to warm yourself from the inside out. Thanks for bringing us this great recipe.
Thank you.
To make your own beef green chili and find other great beef recipes, visit the website beefitswhatsfordinner.com, or you can always find them on our website. That's cattlementocattlemen.org. As we head into the spring and summer months, why not add some fresh flavors to your nightly meal? Chef Shanoa French of the Beef Culinary Innovation Center at NCBA is with us to talk to us about a beef and asparagus pasta toss.
Absolutely.
Tell us what you have here.
Well, this is one of our quick weeknight meals, and as most people think about ground beef, they think of tacos,
Sure.
spaghetti sauce, something that they just throw together, and we want to give them another option. This
Okay.
is also one of those meals that you can have on the table for a family of 4 in less than 30 minutes.
Perfect.
So we're going to start with the pasta. You're going to boil about 6 cups of water. You need enough. We're going to use 3 cups of uncooked pasta, bow tie variety. This is a whole wheat one, and you can use whichever one you want.
Sure.
When we talk about boiling pasta, we want to make sure that we add enough salt to the water.
Really?
The trick or the tip that we were given through culinary school is make it taste like the ocean.
Really?
If you don't add salt to the water, it pulls the salt out of the pasta and puts it into the water because they like that equilibrium,
I did
and
not
then
know
you'll
that.
have a less flavorful pasta.
So salt your water,
salt your
boil the
water.
pasta.
Yeah. So, and what we're doing with this, we kind of do a 2-for-1 step. So you'll throw your pasta in, cook for about 10 minutes, and then the last 3 to 4 minutes that your pasta would be cooking, you throw your 1-inch pieces of asparagus.
Right with the pasta.
Right with the pasta. So you cut them up and have everything ready. This recipe is really important to get all your things together because it goes together really quickly.
Okay.
So 1-inch pieces of asparagus, tossed in the last 3 to 4 minutes. You drain them all together, and then just rinse them in cold water.
Gotcha.
So that way it kind of stops. We call it blanching and shocking your vegetables. We'll keep your nice green color as we go through this.
Very good.
So get these together and kind of put them aside.
So it's looking good so far. I love
Yes.
asparagus.
All right, then we have our ground beef, just a pound of ground beef.
Okay.
And go ahead and brown it on the stove. You can brown that on the stove while your pasta is boiling.
Gotcha.
Take it out of the pan, pour off the drippings. We recommend using 90% lean and above.
Sure.
So you won't have a lot, but go ahead and put that aside on the bowl.
Okay.
And now we're ready to get cooking. So,
All right.
hot skillet, and again, I like to use a larger skillet and toss everything into one stove
I see.
instead of having to toss things back into the bowl. So
Gotcha.
I use a little bit larger one. If you don't have one at home, you can kind of go the other way.
Yeah, okay.
We're going to start with a little bit of olive oil.
Yeah.
So about 3 tablespoons of olive oil.
All right.
Go ahead and put this in there. If you don't want to use olive oil, you don't have to.
Okay.
Got your heat on kind of low, but what we're going to want to do is we've got some shallots.
Oh, yeah.
And this is about 1/4 cup of shallots.
Okay.
Minced. If you can't find shallots, you can use onions.
Yep.
They're all kind of in the same family. These are just a little stronger.
Very good.
So go
Give
ahead
some
and
flavor to that pasta.
yeah, toss these in there.
Okay.
You want to make sure your oil is a little warm before you start adding stuff in there. As you can hear,
Gotcha.
it's starting to sizzle.
Yep.
The vegetables will absorb less oil if it's hot.
I see.
So there's your shallots. The next thing we're going to add is 2 to 3 cloves of minced garlic.
Love garlic.
More if you like it, less if you don't.
Yeah.
So that goes in.
I'm smelling it already. That smells great.
And then to top that off, we're going to do just a little bit of salt and pepper.
Okay. All right.
All right.
And how long are you going to cook this then?
You know, this is quick, so it kind of depends on how hot your pan is. You're going to
Gotcha.
want to, as we talk about either sweating or kind of reducing down those, you want to bring out their flavor by the heat.
Yep.
And you almost want to make your shallots that translucent as you can start to smell them. You don't want to
Smells
cook them
great.
too long because otherwise you'll burn the garlic. And also olive oil has a lower smoke point than most oils because
I
you don't
see.
want them too hot.
Gotcha.
So that's why you kind of keep it on lower heat.
It smells great, Shanoa.
Yeah, you'll give them a couple stirs, let them get nice and translucent, and then as this happens,
Yeah.
we're going to add
What are we gonna
our
do next?
ground beef. We're going to add
Ground
that
beef,
back in. So this will go back into the pan,
All right.
and it'll help you. It's going to start heating it back up.
Gotcha.
You want to make sure this has probably only been out of the pan for maybe 10 minutes
I
as
see.
you work
Still
through.
warm.
Still warm. So you kind of want to mix all your garlic
Wow.
and the shallots through that.
Yeah.
Get a little bit of the olive oil and the salt and pepper all incorporated.
It smells great. Yeah, that's outstanding.
So once you're there,
Yeah.
and I talked about, we're going to do all of this will go into here.
In the same, wow.
Yeah, if your pan's not big enough at home, then you can go the other way.
That's great.
So what I'll do is I'll slowly slide all these guys in there.
Yeah.
And the olive oil is kind of working as your sauce that's in there.
Yep.
You can throw that right down there. So, and this comes the toss part. So
Gotcha.
you can either do it in a big bowl or,
That's right.
or
I
do
want
it
to
in
see
the
you
skillet.
kind of tossing it on the skillet, maybe.
I don't know if the skillet's quite big enough. I'm going to end up with pasta tossed all over the counter, Kevin.
That's
so you'll
great.
toss this all together, and you can either serve it family style,
Yeah.
directly out of the skillet, or you could portion it up.
Looks great.
Yeah, as you top off just a little bit of Parmesan cheese. So
Oh,
you'll sprinkle
right
just
on
right
top.
on the top. That
Gotcha.
tops off every pasta dish,
Absolutely.
right?
Or a
And-
lot of Parmesan
yeah.
cheese.
And here
And
is a
this is-
single portion
that looks
with a nice
great.
piece of bread.
I've got to try this. I have to tell you that I love
asparagus, and you're doing all the things right here.
Yeah, and the perfect part, if you don't like bow tie pasta or you can't find it, you can use wagon wheel or some of the spiral. Just make sure that they're smaller so they'll fit on your fork easier. So we recommend not using full-on spaghetti with it.
That's great, though. What a quick and easy dish, and a healthy one at that.
Yep, and it reheats perfectly for lunch the next day if you need it to.
Thanks for a great, unique idea. For this recipe and others featuring great tasting beef, head to our website at cattlementocattlemen.org.
New Holland is the undisputed leader in hay tools. We give farmers a wide range of innovative equipment that increases efficiency and productivity all year round. Because to us, smart means providing a smooth, clean cut with faster dry down, plug-free conditioning, and superior bale density. And smart means leaving less hay on the field to feed more livestock in less time. That's New Holland Smart. Visit your local New Holland dealer today.
There's something wrong. His head is down. He's clearly stressed. He's worried sick about BRD. That's why there's prescription Zactran for BRD treatment and control in high-risk cattle. Get a rapid response plus 10-day treatment and control in a single dose, so you can stop worrying and get back to business. For use in cattle only, do not treat cattle within 35 days of slaughter. Because a discard time in milk has not been established, do not use in female dairy cattle 20 months of age or older, or in calves to be processed for veal. The effects of Zactran on bovine reproductive performance, pregnancy, and lactation have not been determined. Don't worry yourself sick. Talk to your veterinarian about a real alternative for BRD treatment and control. Because it's critical, it's Zactran. From Marielle, a leading animal health company.
Is a time when Oktoberfest is celebrated in many places across our nation, and Shanoa French is with us from the Culinary Innovations team with a recipe that fits perfectly with Oktoberfest. Is that right?
It does. We're gonna talk a little bit about bratwurst style and some sauerkraut.
Perfect.
So let's start here. We actually have the sauerkraut working first for us, and this recipe is kind of a play on the canned sauerkraut that you might buy in the grocery store. It's a quick pickling, takes about 10 minutes, and allows you to make as much or as little as you need. We need just a small amount for this recipe. So
here I am, a German, and I've never even heard of that.
You've never made your own. Well, now you can learn.
Yes.
So this starts, and why I wanted to show you this part of the recipe is it shows that it kind of disappears in the pan, and that's okay. You haven't done anything wrong. So that's why we want to show not to add more, because it'll mess up and you'll end up with extra at the end. So this is about 3 cups of coleslaw mix, and it's just shredded cabbage that you can buy in the grocery store. So if you want to use a head and shred it yourself, you can, or for convenience, just buy 3 cups of shredded. It's a little bit of water, a little bit of brown sugar, a little bit of vinegar, and some caraway seeds.
Really?
Yeah. So
that's all it takes.
That's all it takes. Find them in the spice aisle. There. A little bit of water. You put the lid on it and you let them cook for about 10 minutes, and you'll start to see that the cabbage becomes translucent, and that's what we're looking for. So I'm gonna let this sit here for a little bit, and we're gonna talk about the beef and sausage. Yeah. So most people, I think of Oktoberfest, they think of the Longmore brat style.
Right.
This is gonna be a patty, so it's easier and it makes dinner for 4, and you don't have to worry about trying to stuff them or do casings or any of that. So you're going to start with a pound of ground beef, whatever you choose at the house, and we're going to add just a couple quick ingredients, and then we'll use it on the stove. So we're going to start this with 1/4 cup of milk.
Really?
Yeah, so a little bit of milk, and I like to kind of flatten out the ground beef in the bowl so that you're even dispersing of the spices as you lay them in here. So next is going to be a little bit of powdered garlic. So kind of sprinkle that through.
Yeah. Get it good and dispersed.
Yeah, try to. Salt and pepper. That's just your standard in the house.
That's easy. You bet.
And then here comes the ones that are a little bit different.
I don't even recognize those.
So this one is allspice.
Okay.
So the nut that a lot of people think of probably with cookies and pumpkin pie. So we're going to add that in there. A little bit of cardamom.
Really?
Yeah. For those people that like chai tea and some of that kind of stuff. Some of that flavors that you'll get. And then a little bit of mace. is your
Okay,
last one. So
very
just a
good.
touch of that. We're going to add that.
Well, you've
on
just
the
taught
top.
me something about spices today.
That's only half of it. And then you're going to mix them up. If you want to go ahead at home, use your hands, kind of get in there, make sure that everything is dispersed nicely.
Okay.
You want to make sure that the insides are just as seasoned as the outsides.
Okay.
So usually go ahead and do this with your hands.
Sure.
You don't want to over mix them because the more you mix them, the tougher your patties will
Oh,
become.
I see. Sure.
Yeah, so kind of give them a good mix.
Sure.
And then you're basically going to just divide this into 4.
Okay.
Kind of real quick, and then press them into patties.
Just patties, just like you do a hamburger.
Just like you would hamburgers.
Sure,
Yep,
that's
absolutely.
easy enough to do.
So that's kind of the start of this. We're
Yes.
going to move in. I've got some started, and we're going to show you what we do with the
Looks
next.
like it, yeah.
So we have 3 of them on here. What we want to talk about is you'll start 2 of them, and you want to just cook them until they're golden brown on the bottom.
Okay.
So you want to make sure that they're cooked all the way through.
Sure.
So 160 degrees internally, and when you're using a thermometer at home, you want to stick the thermometer through horizontally to make sure you're not touching the bottom of the pan.
Very good.
For food safety.
Yes.
And we know that juices are not a clear determinant for doneness. So when
Interesting.
a lot of people have said if you
Clear,
run,
yeah.
and that's truly not food
The best
safe.
indicator,
So best
okay.
indicator is to go ahead and use a thermometer.
Good.
Once they're about halfway cooked, you're going to flip them over.
Okay.
So that way you can make
Wow.
sure that they get seared on both sides.
Those are looking good.
Yeah, and once you have a nice golden brown, the next step, and we're going to go ahead and start plating one of these, is you're going to take a piece of Swiss cheese.
Sure.
So the rest of the build on these sandwiches, and we're using pretzel buns.
Oh.
And I think a lot of times when you go over to Germany, they think of pretzels
Sure.
and beer
Yeah.
and bratwurst. So that's kind of how it ties it all together.
Very good.
Pretzel buns are kind of the hot rave right now.
I've noticed that.
Yeah, so you add a little bit of mustard.
Okay.
Either English mustard or German mustard, whatever you like on the bottom.
Sure.
And if you give this a minute or 2 in a hot pan, your cheese will kind of melt down around it.
Sure.
So we're gonna pretend that that's done.
Melted,
Yeah,
yes.
and you're gonna stick one right here on top.
Very good.
And then you're gonna take a little bit of your coleslaw that you made, or your sauerkraut.
Sauerkraut, I
Yeah,
was gonna
originally
say,
coleslaw.
yeah.
And top right there on the top of your burger.
Wow.
And you're gonna go ahead.
That's a nice new twist
top.
on the old hamburger and
Yeah.
give you something to celebrate around October.
Just a little different flavor profile.
Well, it looks to me like that may be even something to try in the summer months too. Thanks for bringing this recipe.
Welcome.
For this and other outstanding recipes, visit beefitswhatsfordinner.com or our website at cattlementocattlemen.org.
Join your fellow cattlemen in sizzling hot San Antonio for the 2015 Cattle Industry Annual Convention and NCBA Trade Show. It's the beef industry's biggest convention, and it's great for education, networking, and fun. Plus, you can check out the NCBA Trade Show for the latest technology. It's the 2015 Cattle Industry Annual Convention and NCBA Trade Show in sizzling hot San Antonio, Texas, February 4 through 7. Visit beefusa.org for more.
Well, I think a rancher has to be a steward of the land. There's nobody else that can take care of land better than a rancher can, because he has to make his living off of it. When we switched over to the Purina products, it was a step in the right direction, and it's really been profitable for us. It just makes that much of a difference.
The difference we see in the cattle is the consistency of their nutrition. They don't go up and down drastically in weight. Every head on this ranch is fed the Purina Superlix 30. If we keep them on that feed, they stay in optimum condition year round.
The cattle hold their condition a lot better all throughout the whole year. The products they're producing are very much in line with what the rancher needs to be using to be profitable in the future. That's the best thing ever happened to us.
It does make a difference that we can see, day in and day out.
It's a fast-paced world these days for everyone, especially for families. And making meals fast and portable is sometimes required. Pam Nash, one of the recipe testers with the Beef Culinary Center, joins us now with just the thing for busy lifestyles. Pam, looks like you're going to build something that is a family favorite of ours when we go to livestock shows, and that's on-the-go beef tacos. Is that right?
That's right. This recipe is a lot of fun. It's quick and easy. It's easy to customize to anybody's taste, and they're just super fun. You can do them at barbecues, you can do them at birthday parties. They're really quick and easy to do.
Well, let's get started.
Okay, so we took a pound of ground beef, and I used my favorite taco seasoning mix and 3/4 cup of water, put it in a pan, cooked it all up. You cook your beef to 160 for food safety, and mix it all together, and you get your beef mixture.
Sure.
Once you get your beef mixture, take your favorite chip.
Yep.
Today we have nacho cheese chips.
Sure.
And then you can fill it with beef and then fill it with all of your favorite toppings.
And again, no dishes to deal with when we're done.
No dishes, easy to do.
Very
so first, we'll go ahead and put in a couple spoonfuls or forkfuls here.
You bet. Or half a bowl,
Or
whatever
half
you
a
prefer.
bowl, whatever you want to do of your beef.
I know my wife normally, we cook this in advance, and then she has it in the refrigerator or cooler, and then we just put it in a crock pot to warm it up in time for lunch meal.
For lunch, absolutely, absolutely. So once you get your beef in there, you can top it with your toppings. Today here, we have tomatoes.
Yeah.
I have shredded cheddar cheese. I have avocados, diced avocados. I have some chopped up cilantro.
Oh, yeah.
I have shredded lettuce. I have salsa, of course.
You bet.
And I have some green onions.
It's delicious.
And if I was making this for me to eat after my beef, I'm going to start with diced tomatoes.
Okay, perfect.
And just throw those in.
Oh, sure. Take all the tomatoes. All right, what else?
And then I'm going to put in my shredded cheddar cheese because I love cheese.
Yeah.
Oh, I really love cheese.
You love cheese.
And then I'm going to finish off with avocado.
Well, you just will take all the avocados as well. That's delicious.
And then that's your serving bowl as well. That's how you eat it.
Now, speaking of serving bowl, it looks like you did a couple of variations that you could actually eat at home, but these look a little different. Can you tell us more about these?
Absolutely. We did 5 different variations on this. This first one we have is our chili cheese taco, and we used a corn chip, and instead of the taco seasoning, we used chili seasoning in the beef. The second one we have here is our Mediterranean. Instead of the taco seasoning, we use 2 teaspoons of Greek seasoning, and then we use a multigrain chip. The third one we have is our ranch. We take out the taco seasoning, we use a ranch packet into the beef, and we use a ranch chip. The fourth one we have is the meat and potatoes taco. So we take out the taco seasoning, we use a gravy mix in the beef, and then we serve it over your favorite potato chips. And the last one of my favorites, is the cheeseburger taco. So we take out the taco seasoning, we actually add ketchup and mustard into the beef, and then we serve it over our favorite cheese puff.
That is delicious and so easy, and as you say, so much fun.
Yep.
Thanks so much for bringing us these great recipe with beef.
Thank you.
For on-the-go beef tacos and other great beef recipes, visit the website beefitswhatsfordinner.com. Or you can always find them on our website at cattlementocattlemen.org. We're back in the kitchen with Laura Majors, one of the recipe testers from the Beef Culinary Center. And Laura, I see you brought the slow cooker with you today. You know, we use the slow cooker a lot in our household. Why do you think it's become such a popular way to fix beef?
Yeah, Kevin, it's a popular way because you can take some of the larger cuts from the shoulder, from the rump, from the round, and you can cook it all day and come home and at least part of the dinner's already made.
You bet.
And then the reason we call it 4-way is that you can take that beef, shred it, and then add different sauces or different ingredients to finish it off with to a lot of different flavors from different cultures, and we're going to show you 4 different ways to prepare it quickly.
Well, that sounds very exciting. Let's get started.
Okay, the first thing we want to do is make sure that the beef is done.
Okay.
We use what we call fork tender. You're going to pull the pieces out of the slow cooker, and you put it on like this, but I want you to see how easy this fork goes in, and that's fork done.
Very good.
And then to shred it, you can just take a couple of table forks and pull it apart, and you can see how easy that pulls apart. And you'll want to do that to the whole roast.
Okay.
And then you can make several dinners with this, or one, depending on how many people you have to feed.
Okay. And so now you've already got some shredded roast beef, it looks like.
Yeah, we have a little bit shredded here. We're going to show you the Indian, East Indian way that we would do this. We're going to add just a little tiki masala sauce.
Okay.
Stir it up in there, and then this is what it's going to look like, just sauce, and depending on your finish, you're going to use either salsa or tiki masala, or for a Mexican dish, you could use any of your salsas or Mexican sauces. Barbecue sauce also works. And then you'd want to cover this up, put it in the microwave for a minute to heat everything up. You might have to stir it once, put it back in, and then your meat is all heated.
And for those people who want to go around the world while staying in the comfort of their own home, you've got several different alternatives for us.
Right, we do, and this is great to show kids how to cook. So they're going to get a lot of different ideas about what they can eat from different cultures. And with this one piece of beef, you can do several. Have a party and roll out a whole bunch of different sauces from different countries and ingredients.
Well, tell us about these.
Okay, thanks. This is an Asian piece. It's got some hoisin sauce. You can also use teriyaki, mix that in. It also has some cucumbers, a few peanuts, and some carrots. Okay. Then moving on to the barbecue sauce. It's a barbecue sandwich, whole grain bun, very healthy for your family.
What's in the pita?
The pita, and you can also use naan bread, would be the East Indian preparation that we prepared. And add some yogurt, some pistachio nuts, some of your other vegetables.
Interesting. And finally, we've got, it looks like a kind of a Mexican burrito.
Yeah, it could be a taco, it could be a burrito. Shredded beef is really good with Mexican food. Add some avocados, some tomatoes, some onions, and there you have it.
So folks that want to do multiple alternatives for the same meal, or just not eat leftovers over and over and create some variety in leftovers, this is a great option.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Thank you so much, Laura.
Thank you, Kevin.
For this and other outstanding beef recipes, visit the website beefitswhatsfordinner.com, or you can always find them on our website at cattlementocattlemen.org.
Whether you're feeding cattle, milking cows, or baling hay, the work on your farm is never done, which is why you need equipment that works as hard as you do. Get the efficiency and versatility you need with Case IH. From Farmall compact and utility tractors to balers and mowers, all Case IH equipment is designed with one thing in mind: getting the job done. To learn more, visit caseih.com/livestock.
To stay up to date on beef industry news and the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, check out beefusa.org. You'll find news on both the Federation of State Beef Councils and the work of NCBA on Capitol Hill. Plus, link to NCBA programs like the blog, Beltway Beef, updates on the Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show, and the latest from NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. Connect today at beefusa.org.
Got a friend or family member with a case of classic tractor fever? You can help by ordering them the Classic Tractor Fever Farm Deal. This special set includes both the 2015 Classic Farm Tractors calendar and the companion DVD, Uncommon Classics. It's our biggest and best lineup of tractors ever. That's hours of enjoyment on the wall and on the TV. Just call 1-800-888-8979 or visit the website, classictractors.com.
I'm an NCBA member because NCBA, they look at the facts, they look at the history, and they look what's good for the industry.
It's important to be NCBA members just because of what NCBA does. They keep us informed about a lot of things that are going on nationwide.
The reason we're an NCBA member is we think that it's the best voice that the cattle people have.
Join NCBA today. Head to beefusa.org or call 866-USA-BEEF.
If you're like me, football season's always a time to enjoy family, friends, and food. Kristen Ledgerwood from the Culinary Innovations team is with us, and let's talk tailgating with beef, Kristen.
Of course. Well, I think a lot of people think of beef to take when they're tailgating, but I don't think a lot of people think of brisket as an option.
Burgers normally.
Right.
Yeah.
Burgers are a go-to, so
Sure.
why not try something different and do a little brisket? This recipe today, we're doing a braised brisket.
Okay.
We're going to make some street tacos.
Okay.
But we're going to do everything besides building your tacos ahead of time.
Perfect.
So you can just take it with you.
Enjoy the game.
And enjoy the game.
Yeah, enjoy the friends. That's fantastic. And so
Yeah.
you've already got a brisket started here, it looks like.
I did. So I went ahead, added a little bit of olive oil into my stock pot, and I'm starting to brown the both sides of my brisket.
Okay, for somebody who likes to barbecue brisket, you're worrying me a little bit when you put the brisket in a stock pot and start browning it.
You're wondering about it, aren't you?
I am. You're going to have to sell me on this concept. I love barbecue brisket.
Well, this is a braised recipe, so we're going to add some liquid to it, and we're going to get it, cook it until it's fork tender, which it's just going to melt in your mouth.
Very good.
So it's another alternative to what you're traditionally use your brisket for.
Smoking or barbecuing, yeah.
Right. So, so like I said, we've just gotten this a little bit nice and brown. We're going to brown both sides of those.
Sure.
And then we've got a little bit of that olive oil left in there.
Okay.
And we're going to start adding some of our aromatics to the recipe.
Give it a little extra flavor and so forth.
That's right.
What do we have in terms of aromatics?
We have some onions.
Okay, sure.
So we've got sliced some onions.
About how
in
much?
there.
Just several?
Just about a half a cup of onions.
Okay, that's good.
And some minced garlic.
Perfect.
So this is all going to mix in there, and it's going to get nice and flavorful. You're going to start to smell it. A lot of times people wonder what you're cooking, and it's those onions and garlic that really start to make the smell.
It smells, I love those two anyway.
Yeah.
I don't ever think of them with brisket, but so you're just going to kind of cook those for about how long then?
Just so they're sauteed enough to a little translucent. We're really just going to, about 4 or 5 minutes or so.
All right.
Just to bring out that lovely smell that you usually get with it.
Absolutely.
And then we're going to go ahead and add our brisket back in on top of our onions.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good.
We'll do that.
And then you've got some other things here, and I'm not sure what you brought us here.
Well, everybody, when they go tailgating, usually has some beer around, right?
Okay, sure.
So you take one of those bottles of beer that you're going to...
that you were going to drink.
And we're going to go ahead and add it to our brisket.
Okay.
So we've just got one bottle of beer.
Just as kind of a tenderizer, or what else is it doing?
It's going to help break it down, but it's also going to be some flavor, a lot of flavor. Tomatillo salsa.
Okay.
So you can just find this in the grocery store, just a jar, and you're going to add some of that salsa in there.
Very good.
Now you can tell it's kind of quieted down a little bit.
Yeah.
So we're just going to stir that in there.
Okay. And how long are you going to cook all these things then?
This is going to go for about 2.5 to 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
But our key is looking for fork tenderness.
Okay.
So you're going to stick a fork in there, and you're looking for the brisket to actually pull away from the fork.
Very good.
And that's when you know it's at that nice tenderness
And
stage.
speaking of fork tender, did you bring a sample for us?
I did.
I thought I saw that.
So we went ahead and cooked up brisket beforehand for y'all. And so what you do after it gets to that fork tenderness stage, we're going to take the brisket out. We're going to go ahead and slice it.
Oh, yeah.
The sauce we're going to reduce down. We're going to make it a little bit thicker, and we're going to add the brisket back into it.
One more time.
So
and what does that do?
It's going to add a little bit extra moisture, and then your flavor is going to hold into your brisket. So.
And then you're going to take that in a crock pot or something to just keep it warm. Is that right?
Whatever you usually travel to that you can keep warm at while you're tailgating, just go ahead and put it in there, and then while you're making your tacos.
Yeah, tell us about the tacos themselves.
Sure. Yeah. So you pick your favorite corn tortilla, flour tortilla, whatever you like at the store. Pick that up. We're going to add the brisket back in there, and then some of our great toppings, some salsa, cilantro, green onions, whatever you feel like.
Looks delicious, and it's especially easier. Just cuts down the stress and the hassle at the tailgating party itself. Kristen, you've taken tailgating to altogether different level this fall with beef. Thanks for bringing us this recipe.
Trying to make it easier, so thanks for having me, Kevin.
You bet. For this and other outstanding recipes, visit beefitswhatsfordinner.com, or you can go to our website at cattlementocattlemen.org.
We stand for what we believe in. We believe in you.
It's more than a job. It's your way of life. Who you are, where you live, and what you do. The way you treat your cattle, your family, your employees, and your neighbors. The water you drink, the air you breathe, and the ground you walk on. What you do every day gives families something to gather around every night. It's about doing what's right for your cattle, your land, your community, and your business. It's your livelihood, and it means as much to us as it does to you. We all believe in responsible beef. Let's stand together at responsiblebeef.com.
To truck guys, the truck is everything. And when you put them in charge of making an unbeatable truck, good things happen. This is the Ram 1500, the 2014 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. And first ever back-to-back winner. Guts, glory, Ram.
One of the great things about beef is that beyond steak or hamburger, there's so many different ways to prepare it. And Laura Majors, one of the recipe testers from the Beef Culinary Center, is with us to share a great and satisfying beef recipe. Now, Laura, I see that you've brought us a one-pan beef dish, perfect for dads like me that hate doing dishes. Is that right?
That's right. My husband loves this because he is the dishwasher in our household, and we get busy and we need some things that are simple too. So
that's great.
This can take you from start to finish in 25 to 30 minutes. And then one pan goes into the sink. So it is really quick and easy.
That's outstanding, especially with me using paper plates to eat off
There you
of.
go.
Well, let's get started.
Okay, well, we've, in order to save some time, we've already prepared the beef dish to a certain level.
Okay.
This would be at the point where you're taking the lid off after the noodles have already cooked. So we start with the beef and some mushrooms, sliced mushrooms, and then we add some garlic and some thyme. We make sure that those are cooked to 160 for ground beef.
Okay.
And then we're going to just add about a cup and a half or a can of beef stock.
Okay.
And noodles, and the noodles are uncooked at this point. Then you bring it up to a boil, put the lid on, and this is what you have in about 8 to 10 minutes.
Don't cook the noodles separately, just throw it all in there.
That's right.
Outstanding.
That's how we end up with one pan at the end. So we're at the point where, you know, we all need our vegetables, so we're going to add some peas to that.
If you insist.
If I insist, huh?
Good.
So you want to add your peas to that.
Yeah.
And some sour cream, because that you're going to cook with the peas for about 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay.
We can use frozen. You can also use fresh.
Yes.
Add the sour cream, about a half a cup.
Okay.
Stir that in.
Stir in that.
You also want to stir in some Dijon mustard.
Oh, wow.
With that. Gives it a beautiful flavor.
Oh, yeah, no kidding.
And that mixes with all of your juices that are in the pan.
Okay.
And that's your dish. That's your full dish.
Simple.
It's that simple.
And then how long will you cook that?
This is, once everything's all blended, it's done. It's hot and it's done.
Wow, ready to serve.
That's right.
And it looks like we've got a finished product over here. Is that right?
We do. We have a finished product. We have it with ground beef on the left. And then over here you'll see it with some top sirloin, and that recipe is also as an option on our website.
Very, very flexible. Laura, thanks so much for bringing this easy and fast recipe to us.
Great.
For one dish beef stroganoff and other easy beef recipes, visit the website beefitswhatsfordinner.com. Or you can always find them on our website. That's cattlemen2cattlemen.org. Eating beef with breakfast is a nutritious and tasty way to start the day. But it isn't always the easiest thing to prepare when you first wake up in the morning. Shanoa French of the Beef Culinary Innovation Center is with us here today to tell us about a beef recipe that's both easy and tasty to prepare for either breakfast or brunch. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. We're going to talk through a frittata. And a lot of people probably aren't familiar with a frittata.
Yeah, I'm one of those.
It's similar, it fits kind of in the omelet or quiche family. Okay. It's just crustless. So that kind of takes some of the fat component out of it. First thing we're going to talk through, I kind of started a little bit, so for the sake of time, but we've got a non-stick skillet. All right. And the most important thing when you're choosing your skillet is choose one that's oven proof. And so if you have a plastic handle or something like that, it's going to be a problem. Yeah, because it is going to go into the oven. Okay. So go ahead and preheat your oven to 350 so that gets hot while you do the rest of the stuff. Okay. I went ahead and started, the beginning of this recipe calls for 4 new potatoes. Okay. And you cut them into quarters or slices, thin enough so that they'll cook.
And again, you have how much zucchini and onion in there?
There's one, and I'll talk about that here in a minute. So cut these up, and you're going to start with them in the pan with water and a lid. Cook them for about 10 minutes. Take them out and hold them aside and drain your water off. And then what we did in here, we threw a pound of ground beef in here, a whole small zucchini sliced, and a half of a yellow onion.
Do we have to put the zucchini in?
You do have to add it. You could do, well, okay, I'll let you choose another vegetable, but you have to choose a vegetable. It could be a red bell pepper or something else. But what most important thing is you want to cook your beef, drain it if you need to. We used a 90% lean, so we're pretty good. Sure. Here, salt, season it with a little salt and pepper so that it's all done. And this is pretty much, if you wanted to put this in an omelet, that components is all completely done. Oh, gotcha. Okay. So once that's all done, then we're going to go ahead and move to your eggs. So this is just 6 large eggs. And put them in here and you whisk them together.
No milk or anything?
No milk or anything, just 6 large eggs. So after you have that, you're going to take some fresh basil, and this gives it a real nice fresh aroma that you'll smell here in a minute. So about 3 tablespoons, and if you like more or less, add it as you will. I always put it in here and stir it a little bit so it gets evenly distributed in here. So I'm going to do a little of this. Very good. You can do it with a fork if you want to. Sure. And what you're going to do is also add a little bit of salt and pepper. And I'm going to add it in here so that we...
Even though we've already salt and peppered the beef?
Yeah, the recipe calls you to do a little bit at the beginning to start it, and then a little bit at, when you add it to the egg mixture. It makes sure that everything's thoroughly incorporated in here. Very good. So here goes the fun part. Yeah, and a little bit of fresh basil. Yeah. You're going to go ahead and just pour it over the top. And kind of like make sure that it gets all mixed in, because you want the egg, what it'll do when we put it in the oven is it will, the fat in there kind of fluffs and it'll grow on us. Gotcha. 1/3 of a cup of Italian cheeses, a nice white cheese.
I like cheese, or a half a cup, whatever you prefer.
Or if you're doing it at Kevin's house, that's what you get. So now what I'm going to do is this is going to go ahead and go in the oven. Okay. And as we talk about the magic of TV.
Wow, look at that.
Here comes one.
A microwavable dish.
And this goes in. We'll get this stuff out of the way for us. Sure. If you want to go ahead and grab that plate.
Oh, absolutely.
You can either, if you want to serve it as a whole family style, these things will slide directly out on a plate. Okay. Or we've cut them and we're just going to take a piece out of there for you.
Look at that.
So this, as we talk about it, it's a crustless. And it's got the eggs fluff up in there. Wow. And you've got ground beef and all your other vegetables. So
I've got to try this. About how many people will this serve, Shanoa?
This one will serve 4 to 6, depending on how big of a piece you want for breakfast, how many people are eating, and then we've paired it with some nice berries for antioxidants and some orange juice if you want it.
That's perfect. You know, I'll tell you what, I think of bacon and sausage and ham, but I'll be honest, we don't do a lot of hamburger or beef for breakfast. This is delicious.
Well, and it's that simple way as you think about using it, you can kind of take this to a little bit of a Mexican version if you want to do stewed tomatoes and chilies and a little different cheese too. So it's a great brunch option as Mother's Day and Easter comes around.
Thanks so much for coming again.
Thanks for having me.
To take a look at some of the other great tasting beef and breakfast ideas that include beef, head to our website at cattlementocattlemen.org.
I'm Sheila Carges. This is my husband Brock. We have 2 girls, Karina and Jessica. Both girls can pull cattle, doctor, process anything that we need them to do.
Using products that help keep the calves healthy, it helps my parents to be less stressful, it helps them to be at home more, and it helps pay more bills when you don't have to worry about sick cattle.
I'd say 99% of our cattle are high risk.
We've never seen a response due to metaphylaxis like we have with the Draxxin. I think Draxxin has a major role in any operation as far as your viability and your long-term outlook.
And how do you quantify having a peace of mind to take a vacation for a week or leave work early to go watch a basketball game. You can't quantify that.
Important safety information for Draxxin. Draxxin has a pre-slaughter withdrawal time of 18 days. Do not use in dairy cattle 20 months of age or older. Effects on reproductive performance, pregnancy, and lactation have not been determined.
Hi there, I'm Joey.
And I'm Rory, and welcome to our farm outside Nashville, Tennessee. When we go to work, whether it's on tour or here at home, we wear the West.
That's right, where it's that perfect snap shirt or that perfect pair of boots. When you wear Roper, you wear the West.
Learn more about us, Joey and Rory, and about Roper Western Wear at eroper.com.
Telling the truth and being real and feeding my family a home-cooked meal. That's important to me. That's important to me. And planting the garden and watching it grow.
Let's face it, you don't think a lot about your trailer hitch. You use it and forget it. We understand. But at B&W, we think about it. Short nights, long hauls, never-ending chores. The unthinkable. We think about it all, so you don't have to. B&W. Trusted.
If you're not using IMI Global's verification programs, you might as well set your money on fire. To give your wieners added value, no program begins without a traceable animal. Then add on BQA and other specialties and you open up a whole new market for your calves. You might be thinking, the market's so good, why bother? You ever heard of making hay when the sun shines? You got a choice. Get in the game or visit IMIGlobal.com. At the Christmas office party in the barnyard on the farm, the domesticated Dilberts were dispensing wit and charm. Fermented grain made scholars out of even dullest fowl. And though it's hard to take a chicken seriously, even when he's speaking owl. Sheep were bunched like secretaries, sipping wine, comparing notes about the latest in-house romance, and like always, blamed the goats, while the sheepdog and the llama were discussing coyotehood and why they like the NRA, and why it's so misunderstood. Cows were gathered round the milk bowl with the Union Galloway, who was trying to convince them they should strike for higher hay. The more they drank, the more they plotted out their smartest moves, but finally gave the plan up because it's hard to hold a picket sign if all you've got is cloven hooves. And by then the pig had made a mess of all the hors d'oeuvre trays. We're unappreciated swine. You think we live our days just to eat and drink and wallow, but we have yearnings too. It was all this discontentment that had got 'em feeling blue. Farmer Brown announced a bonus like he did most every year. They could all take Christmas Day off, which was greeted with a cheer. They'd tried to guess the bonus, but like always they could not. Every time they were astounded and surprised, but it was the same thing every Christmas, and like always they forgot. As the sun set on the barnyard, everybody got depressed. Just another office party that would fade into the rest. Till the rooster's inspiration saved this ponderous December, when he caught the big tom turkey weaving slightly underneath the mistletoe, mistook him for a piñata, and nearly took his head off with a branding iron, causing a small laceration on his snood, but as memories will attest, made this a Christmas to remember. This is Baxter Black from out there. Merry Christmas.
Join your fellow cattlemen in sizzling hot San Antonio for the 2015 Cattle Industry Annual Convention and NCBA Trade Show. It's the beef industry's biggest convention, and it's great for education, networking, and fun. Plus, you can check out the NCBA Trade Show for the latest technology. It's the 2015 Cattle Industry Annual Convention and NCBA Trade Show in sizzling hot San Antonio, Texas, February 4 through 7. Visit beefusa.org for more.
You may not be thinking about spring yet, but we are, and that means it's time for the John Deere Green Fever sales event. Get ready for the season early with the hottest deals on compact and utility tractors, hay tools, even John Deere gators and turf equipment. Get 0% financing, cash back, and implement bonuses so you'll be ready when warm weather returns. And enter to win a $25,000 landscape makeover, plus John Deere equipment at johndeere.com/greenfever.
It's the official monthly publication of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. The National Cattleman is produced exclusively for NCBA members and includes coverage of the news and events affecting our industry. Every issue includes market analysis, feature stories, and practical management tips. Start receiving your copy of The National Cattleman. Call 866-USA-BEEF or go online to beefusa.org and join today.
It's time now for this week's Legacy Photos submitted by ranching families from around our great country. Let's take a look. You can send us pictures of your farm or ranch by visiting our website. That's cattlemen2cattlemen.org. Include your ranch or farm name and your hometown, and we may use them on a future episode. Well, that's our time for this week's edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you right back here next week on RFD TV.